Okay, so this episode was actually a lot different than the first two episodes in a few ways. Number one, it didn't really pose any sort of psychological question like the first two episodes did. In this episode, the most we got out of some sort of deep theme was accept people for who they are, and that's it. In episode 2, we were faced with like this weird kind of paradox that didn't really have a right or wrong answer. It was just kind of expressing your opinion and what you thought about it. This episode was a bit more straightforward, and it wasn't too deep. Number 2, the tone of this episode was a lot happier. It was joyful. It had this consistently happy feel to it, and at some points it dipped down a little bit and it got a little darker, but then it shot right back up, and by the end of the episode we were feeling hopeful and happy for these characters. So after watching this episode for the first time, I was a bit confused about some stuff, so I had to rewatch a few parts, and I think I understand now. So basically, the girl that Shigeru was bowling with was not Chisato. We are believed to think that's Chisato until the end. It's actually his other childhood friend named Mai. And Mai surgically altered her face to try and be more attractive to Shigeru, but at first I was a bit confused. I didn't know if she changed her face to be more attractive or if she changed her face to look like Chisato. I mean, both of them she's doing to look more attractive to Shigeru, but I didn't know which one she did. I think now I understand she changed her face to look like Chisato because Chisato moved away, and Mai noticed that Shigeru had this weird connection with her and this fixation on her, so Mai pretty much thought, oh, if I change my face and look like her, he'll finally notice me, which is kind of weird. But I mean, she did it out of love, so I guess it's kind of justified. I don't really think so, though. I just think it was awesome how we're introduced with this completely different setting of characters. Completely new people, a completely new little game that they're playing. This game was really, really interesting. Every single ball that they bowled, they remembered a piece of their past, and by the end of the game, they both realized what was going on, that they were both dead. And that was probably the saddest part of the episode for me, because watching them bowl and seeing how well they were getting along, it really made you want to see them have a relationship and go deeper with those feelings, and then you find out they're dead and they can't, so it's just kind of sad. I honestly, genuinely felt bad for them, but they were able to go on one final date before they had to be cast off to where they were going, and we also saw Decim providing some comic relief in there, with which I didn't even know he was capable of. So they skip past this dating part and it skips right to the end where they're holding their hands and they break apart and they go into the elevators where they're going, and up until this point I thought Mai was going to the void because she didn't really do anything bad, but she changed her facial features and doing all that stuff. I took that as a sin, so I thought she was going to be punished for that by going to the void, and Shigeru would be going to the reincarnation elevator because he would be getting another chance. However, I was proved wrong at the end of this episode. They both go in their elevators, the camera kind of pans out, and we see they are both being reincarnated. I was shocked when I saw this. I had no idea that two people could be reincarnated. Up until this point, I was just kind of feeling sad because I didn't think Mai deserved to go to the void. And then I realized they were both being reincarnated, which completely changed the ending of this episode for me. Instead of ending on this sad note knowing that she's pretty much going to hell, it ended on this joyful, hopeful note like I was talking about before, seeing that they're both getting a second chance. My favorite part was the ending. So yeah, like I said before, it's not too deep, this episode, like the other ones were. However, I still really liked it. Thank you for watching. Peace.